What's going on, guys? Wind Model here. Back at you for a gun review. It's going to be a tabletop review. I'm not going to be shooting anything, but this is the one I told you guys about a couple weeks ago. First of all, hope everybody's doing alright. It's been a little while since I did any serious reviews on the firearm side of things. But got you set up here in the kitchen. I got some shit on my normal table and my bench that I didn't clear off, so this is what we're working with today. And we're going to make it do. This is going to be a pretty long video, so those of you who have the attention span of a flea probably won't be interested in this. Those of you that do, enjoy. Hope I can give you some information. A lot of this info a lot of you gun folks who are older and into the older stuff, you probably already know a lot of this information. Some of it you might not know. A lot of it I knew. About half of what I'm going to tell you I knew. The other half I looked it up, printed some cool, tidbits and facts off for you. But nonetheless, let's get started. So what you see in front of you here, propped up by an apple. Apple a day keeps the doctor away, as they say. But propped up in front of you, in its completely original form, is a Marlin Model 336 SC. Many variants. I did not know there were so many different variants of the 336. I knew there was quite a few. And their later models, they're just so many different variants. Now, if you see me reach down here, the clip on the top of this is it's getting loose, so I gotta tighten it, make sure my phone doesn't fall. Some of you remember my video at the pond, it fell. Try to prevent that from happening today. But anyway, this is the Model 336 Marlin SC, which stands for Sporting Carbine. Now, Marlin first produced these in 1948. That was the first year of production. Many variants, as I said, but this is an SC, Sporting Carbine. Carbine, wherever you're from. This one is in 30-30 caliber. That was the most common caliber of the 336s. I think over half of their production of the 336 from 1948 until, they still produce them today. Over half of them have been in 30-30. Of course, you have over 4 million of these have been built since 1948. So they're the second longest produced lever action rifle in American history, behind only, of course, the Winchester 1894, which obviously began its production in 1894, that is over 7.5 million produced. The original production of the 94 stopped in 80. They were rebranded and rebought. Now a Chinese company makes them. So I guess technically they're still being made. But 7.5 million for the 94. Over close to 4.2 million of the 336 is produced and growing for both. Now, since its introduction in 48, I'm just reading off some things here, some tidbits you might not know. I don't have this programmed in my head. I had to look some of this stuff up. It's been offered in a number of calibers and barrel lengths, but as I said, it's commonly chambered in 30-30 or 35 Remington, which is the second most common variant of the 336 as far as caliber variants, using a 20 or a 24-inch barrel. Currently, several models produced with a 16, 19, and 20-inch barrels are available on a 30-30. Of course, 336 is now back in production as of March of 2023. It's a direct development. 336 is a direct development of the Marlin model 1893, which was produced from 1893 to 1936. Then 1893 incorporated a new locking bolt system and a two-piece firing pin. In 36, they made minor changes to the stock, the forearm, sights, I believe. 1893 was redesignated the model 1936, soon renamed the Model 36. All the firearms featured a solid top receiver, made of forged steel, and incorporated side ejection of the fired cartridges. Obviously, compared to the Winchester 94, until that point it was the predominant lever action hunting rifle. The Model 36 was somewhat heavier, with a simpler internal mechanism and a full pistol grip style buttstock, in contrast to the Winchester Street grip stock, I guess you could call it. In 48, the Model 36 was replaced by the 336. And it was sold under both the Marlin and the Glenfield brands. It's currently produced by Ruger today under the Marlin brand. Where most current variants of the 336, they come in a full pistol grip, and most of them are walnut stocks, 20-inch barrels with the full-length tube mags. There has been several versions of the 336 offered by Marlin, through the years, involving barrel lengths of very short 16, 18-inch barrels. Of course, then you had your 22s and your 24-inch barrels, and half-length magazines, straight grip stocks, and of course your hardwood furniture. The difference between this and the 94, obviously, the early half of the 94s were top eject. So, if you look at this, right here where the top is, that's where, on the flat top, on the 94s, that's where they would eject. As opposed to the 336s, you have the side eject over here. So, I'm going to give you a rundown, some more tidbits on this, and then I'll get into this one specifically. When they moved from 336, from 36, they machined the injection port into the side of the receiver. Some of the improvements included a stronger round profile breech bolt, redesigned cartridge carrier, I believe, and the extractor was changed too. Of course, they went to coil type main and trigger springs in place of the flat springs used in the earlier rifles. Everything's forged, steel forging. Flat top receiver, side injection. It is primed use. These were made for scopes. However, a lot of traditionalists like me, look, I'm not opposed to scopes on lever action guns. I'm not. Do what you want. I have my Model 88, which is the namesake of my channel, my Winchester Model 88 carbine in 308. That gun is my baby. I know that gun like the back of my hand. I have a scope on that. It's a 3-9 by 40. It's a Bushnell Banner, I believe, or a Sport View, but the thing's deadly. I mean, last year, well, we can't get into that because of legal reasons, but I pretty much dropped 3 deer in 3 shots in a matter of about 30 seconds. So, scopes on lever guns is old lever guns like this. Like this gun here, I would never put a scope on this. It's just open sights, and I'm going to use it open sights. That's how it's just going to be. You know, so do I get mad when I see scopes on old lever guns like this? No. I mean, it don't really, I mean, do what you want. I mean, I love hunting. Justice again before it falls. You know, I'm not knocking anybody if they want to put a scope on something like this. I would never do it personally. But part of that is because I like the challenge. And there's something about carrying a gun in the woods with open sights. Just, I'm fuddy, I guess. I'm a nostalgic person. That's just me. But anyway, do what you want. Well, they did change to, in 56, they changed to a micro-groove rifling system on this and other center-fire Marlin rifles. It cut down production time and extended the service life of machine tooling. At the same time, also, you got the very smooth bore finish, which was designed to improve accuracy, prevent gas leakage, and reduce bore fouling. The gun itself is easily disassembled for cleaning. You just remove the lever pivot screw with a flathead. Allows the field stripping of the lever arm, bolt, and ejector for maintenance. Unlike many lever action designs, the 36 can be cleaned from the breech, much like a bolt action rifle. So, yeah, you can prevent muzzle damage from that. So it's a pretty versatile gun for its time. Now getting in, so as of '83, the Model 336 was ranked number 2 all-time leader in U.S. high-powered sporting rifle sales. Like I said, after only the Winchester Model 1894, which has over 7.5 million. That's crazy. Of course, Ruger began manufacturing Marlins after buying the rights from them. After buying the design rights from Remington. New production 336s are now made under Ruger as of 2023. So I'm going to get into some variants here. There was the Marauder, the Trapper, the Model 336Y, the Y standing for Youth Model. Obviously, 16 to 18 inch barrels. And then the Glenfield, Marlin produced they were less expensive. I won't say significantly less quality, but they were cheaper, and you could buy them in like Kmart, JCPenney, I don't know, Sears. Hell, when I was a kid, Western Auto. If any of you guys remember Western Auto, of course, I say Kmart, Walmart sold them. They were kind of like how these cheap shotguns are today. These single shots, you go into Walmart, you still buy a Walmart shotgun, single shots for $120, I think. Used to be way under. You used to be able to buy them for like $75, but those $75 guns are now $120 guns. That's kind of what the Glenfield models of the 336s were back in the day. You know, the Glenfields came in 30s, 30As, 30ASs, and 30AWs. Other Model 336 production rifles were stamped, such as, J.C. Higgins was the Sears model, Model 45, and Model 50. Montgomery Ward Western Field Model 740A. The JCPenney was the Model 3040. Kmart model was the Model 30TK. And the Model 3000 for the Big 5 sporting goods. They were mechanically identical to 336. They were just made with lower cost hardwood, which was birch most of the time instead of walnut. Stocks and the forearms were birch. And some of the metal was, the finishing was eliminated. It was, you didn't have your fine finishing, which was a cheap bluing, not as shiny. The bluing didn't last as long, which cut down on cost. By doing this, Marlin protected its customer base. That was small specialty gun dealers, I guess you could say. A lot of people have done it, not just Marlin, but, it's how a lot of these places stayed alive back then. Of course, by 83, most of Marlin's mass merchandise retailers were in a position to insist on name brand firearms, and the gun field line was dropped. Marlin continued to offer, the less expensive Model 336 under the W insignia and the AW, which was specifically Walmart. Hardwood stocks, lower cost sights, they were usually offered as a package. The scope came with it, the sling, and other options. The AW, the Model 30 AW, included a 3 to 9 by 32 mounted scope already, and padded sling, but otherwise it was identical to the 336W. A couple variants was the XLR. The XLR was stainless, with a 24-inch barrel, and it had like the gray, you can still buy them today. It's like the gray black wood laminate stocks. The Model 336 SS was a 20-inch carbine in 30-30. Stainless steel receiver, stainless steel barrel, stainless lever, and stainless trigger. I think the magazine tube, springs, and loading gate were also stainless. And the other metal parts on the gun were nickel plated, so the Model 336 SS was probably the best, like, Gucci looking one, I guess you could say. There was the 375 model. It was chambered in 375 Winchester, obviously. It was discontinued in 84 after 16,000 were produced. The Model 336 ER was introduced in 1984. Similar to the Model 375 with the addition of a cross-bolt safety. It was originally chambered in 307 Winchester and 356 Winchester. 307, however, was never manufactured. Having only a few prototypes ever being made of the 307. So it's kind of a brainstorm that never stormed, I guess. 356 Winchester was only around for 3 years, 84, 85, and 86. I only made 2,440 of these. But the 356 Winchester Model 336ER, so the Model 336ER in the 356 Win, highly, highly sought after collector's piece today. Of course, with only 2,400 being built in the 84, 85, and 86 year span, I could see why. There was Model 444, which was introduced in 1965. It's the 336, lever action mechanism. Everything's the same, but it's chambered for the 444 Marlin. At its introduction, when the 444 was introduced to the world of guns, it was the most powerful lever action rifle on the market. The muzzle energy, 3,000 feet. 3,000 foot-pound. That's big time back then. I think in 65, that's moving, that's powerful. It was intended obviously for a large, North American game. It held 4 cartridges in the mag and 1 in the chamber. And originally came with a 24-inch barrel and a straight grip butt. stock. They were 1 in 38. Inch rifling twist. There's a lot of information on the 444. Shot a 265 grain bullet. 71, the 444's barrel length was reduced to 22. Still produced today. There's a model 1894. Shot the 44 Magnum. A lot of information. Just look up model 336. There's a shitload of information on all of these. Of course, Colt 4 you get it in the model 1894 you could get in 45 Colt, 357, 38 Special, 41 Magnum, of course 44 Magnum, 444, all kinds. So check out the 1894. Model 1895, shot 4570. All kinds of different variants of that. The 338 MX, the MXLR, which also you can get in 338 Marlin Express at one time. Of course, the 450 Marlin, shot the 4570. Powerful, powerful rifle. No longer in production. They shut it down after its 10-year run from 2000 to 2009. So the 336, often forgotten that it was a very prominent guide gun. You know, still to today, it's still a very prominent guide gun. You know, especially in Alaska. Favorites of Alaska hunting and wilderness guides. You know, as defense, you know, against bears. They wanted something short barreled, you know, a handy gun, usually between the 16, 18, 20 inch barrel range, I would say, and a large caliber, such as the 444, the 4570, and the 450. 30-30s and 35 Remingtons, while in most of our part of North America, I would say, with the exception of the West, you know, the Mountain West area, while 30-30 and 35, you can still get the job done with pretty much anything here. When you get into those grizzlies, the Kodiaks, the polar bears far up north, I mean, I don't want a 30-30 or a 35. That's, you know. But one of the original guide guns is the 336. Tried, true, trusted, reliable. There has also been various Wildcat caliber conversions done to fit these rifles. Some of them crazy 450 Alaskan cartridges, 457 Wild West Magnum WWM, 50 Alaskan, and the 510 Kodiak Express, which is a crazy round. Check it out. 4590 Sharps, all different. I'm not going to bore you guys with everything. You could spend hours reading on this. I'm just giving you the tidbits. So many variants. Now, I'm going to show you something here on camera. You guys can screenshot this. You guys who have Marlins yourselves, specifically 336s, but also a lot of Marlin's guns, at least their rifles, were branded, manufactured with similar date codes. So, like if you go look up a 336, look at your serial number, and it says, you know, 1961 for the 336. There were a lot of other cross-matched serial numbers. Obviously not the same, but a lot of different models that Marlin made had the same date codes for those years. So you had a model 1895 Marlin from 1955. It may have had similar date codes in the serial number, that you could cross-reference with the 336. So Marlin, they didn't get complicated with their years of manufacture. A lot of them are cross-referenced. The 336, when you look up the year for 336, you're going to find a lot of other guns, built that same designation code. They made it simple as far as the letter and the numeral prefixes to the serial numbers. So this is a table I'm going to show you. This is up until 73. Up until 73, the year of manufacture can be determined by subtracting the first two digits of the serial number from 100. Here, I'll give you an example right here. I'm going to show this to you. This is, you guys can screenshot this. This is for Marlins. If you can see that. This is for the 336 specifically. So 48 was the first year. 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left. 56 to 65 in the middle. And then 66 to 72 on the right column. There's your date, the prefixes. Now, of course, if you read the bottom there, up until 73, subtract the first two digits of the serial number from 100. So there's your example. If your serial number is SN 2512345, subtract the first two digits from 100. You subtract 25 from 100, 75. That means your gun, rifle, firearm was made in 1975. So hold that still. Closer look if you guys want to screenshot that. About 27 minutes in, I know some of y'all ain't gonna watch 5 minutes of this, let alone 30 minutes, but it's there if you guys want it. This is just information I'm putting out. It's going to reach a certain people. Some of it is not going to reach because they're not interested, and that's part of YouTube. This is for the old, I guess this is for a lot of the older folks. I'm not an older folk. I'm closer to 40 than 30, but I don't consider myself old, I guess. I just have a much stronger appreciation for classic guns than I will, or ever will have, for new modern guns. Mainly because they're still in use today, 100 years later. Longer than 100 years for a lot of these. So, the 336 specifically, from 48 till now, there were a couple years in there where it was not produced, obviously. Changed hands. This gun specifically, the 336 SC model, similar to the A, which was your standard. That had a 24-inch barrel. This gun, the 336 SC model, is 20-inch barrel with the pistol grip stock. Of course, the SC means sport carbine. Now, these specifically were made from 1949 to 1963. So in those 14 years, they made the 336 SC. 20-inch barrel, pistol grip stock. American walnut wood, blued steel. Now, the amount of 336 variants, we already went through that. I'm just going to run them down and tell you what they stand for. The 336 CS designation, carbine safety. 336C, from 68 and up meant carbine. Prior to 1968, there was an RC, a 336 RC, which meant regular carbine. Same as the C, but prior to 1968. 336T stood for Texan. It was a carbine with a straight stock and a 20-inch barrel. 336TS, Texan safety with an 18.5-inch barrel. 336SC, which is in front of you, sporting carbine, sporting carbine, however you want to say it, with a 20-inch barrel, pistol grip, and a 2/3 mag tube. So 2/3 mag tube meaning coming 2/3 of the way up from the receiver, you know, to the muzzle. So halfway would be about here, where the sling loop attaches. This is a little further up, so you got 2/3. Now up here, that is the end of the barrel. You're just a tiny bit out of frame. Just move you without falling. There we go. So as you see, there's the end of it. So it comes 2/3 of the way up. The CB 336, which stood for cowboy. 24-inch octagon barrel with a straight stock. What's up, Steve-O? How are you doing? Oh, you come to say hi. Yeah, come say hi. The 336A, prior to 1980, 24-inch round barrel with a PG stock. Say hi, Steve. Say hi, Steve. The most recent A designation, 20-inch PG carbine with birchwood and an end cap forend. 336W, 20-inch PG carbine, birchwood, and 2 barrel bands. The 336Y, spike horn youth model, short PG walnut stock, 16.5-inch barrel. The LTS 336, Texan safety, 16.25-inch barrel. The Marauder, same as 336T, except with a 16.25-inch barrel, an SG roll marked RC. There's ER, 375, XLR, CC, SS, ZG, 336 Octagon, and 336BL, which is big loop lever. Here's the list, if you guys want to screenshot that. That's the variants offered from the beginning in 48 until now. Not saying they make all of these yet. This is from the beginning until now. All the variants they have ever offered in Model 336 Marlin. If you guys want to screenshot that, you can go look it up on your own time. One thing I do, well, I'm going to go over a little bit of this gun anyway, but so the gun weighs 7 pounds or 8 pounds, 7 to 8 pounds. They're all going to weigh 7 or 8 pounds, somewhere in between there. 38.5-inch total length to 42.5-inch total length. So you have what, 4 or 5-inch variant in length between the different variants. 20-inch to 24-inch barrels. Except you get into your specialties, which were 16 to 18. Most of them 20 to 24. The current offerings. $336. Today, the current offerings, $30.30. That's it. You can only get the Model 336 today in $30.30. It's the lone remaining caliber offered today, which is only appropriate to me. You know, As a 2022, October 2022, the 219 zipper, the 307, Win, the 35 Remington, the 3240, 32 Special, 338 Marlin, Marlin Express, 356 Win, 375 Win, 3855 Winchester, 44 Magnum, and 410 are no longer offered as of October 2022. 4570, 444 Marlin, and 450 Marlin are still available in the 1895 chamberings, if you can find them. The 1894 chamberings were 38 Special /357, 44 Special /44 Mag, 45 Colt, and 41 Magnum. Lever gun, 100 to 300 yards is the effective firing range. You can push it with a scope. I've seen shots 400 or 500 yards made with these guns. It's tough, but you can do it. Iron sight's even tougher, but you can do it. The sweet spot for these guns, at least where I hunt, which is thick forests, pines, mountain laurel, your shots are usually under 100, unless you go out to the fields. But a lot of where I hunt, your sweet spot on these guns, 50 to 60 yards. 40, 50, 60 yards. Definitely under 100. But that's their sweet spot. Tube mag, 6+1, depending on the specific models. Iron sights. Optional telescopic 1913 rail on some models. So, now, that's the overlook of the gun itself, of the 336 itself. One tidbit here, there was straight top and waffle top 336s. The waffle top refers to the early version of the rifle, where the top of the receiver has a textured wavy line pattern giving it a waffle appearance. Flat top, of course, a smooth, untextured top of the receiver. The waffle top feature was primarily produced between 1948 and 1952 on the 336s. Later models, post 1952, transitioned to a flat top design. Waffle tops are considered far more collectible as they were produced in a limited time frame early in the 336's history. What is the waffle top? Why did they do it? Simply, it was intended to reduce the glare on the receiver when using your open slates. And they later discontinued it, saying it was deemed unnecessary, which I think the waffle tops look better. And practically speaking, it works. Because if you ever blacken something up on the sun, obviously it's going to take the glare away or greatly diminish it. I think they should have stuck with the waffle tops. However, 48 was the first year of the 336. '52 was the last year of the waffle top. So 48, 49, 50, 51, and 52. For 5 years they had the waffle tops. That's it. If you find a 336 Marlin and it has a waffle top, it was very early production. The first 5 years of production, from 48 to 52. Which brings me to my next point. We're 39 minutes in. Like I said, this is probably going to be close to an hour video. I'm sorry. This is a video you can just sit down and play while you're doing something and listen to me. If you want. The last couple minutes of this, I'm going to show you this gun specifically. This gun, I don't even know if I deserve to have this gun. seriousness, I don't know what I ever did. I don't know what I ever, this gun means a lot. This gun was in my mother's side since the beginning. I shot this gun as a very young kid. This rifle here, this carbine, one of the first big guns, large calibers I ever shot. Besides, your BB guns, your pellets, your 22s, your single shots, 20 gauges and 410s and whatnot. I used to shoot this in the backyard with my grandfather on my mom's side. I never knew that obviously then, I was pretty young, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish, when I first shot this gun. I never knew then, and I did not know until last summer, when unfortunately my grandfather, who lived a pretty long life, he was almost 90, left the world. He left us last summer. I'm not making this into a sob story. It's just, I keep thinking, why do I have this gun? But he left us last summer. And not to tell you a life story of me, but after my parents divorced, there was some, I don't want to say animosity. It was actually, I don't know, it's just, if you've ever been through, like, when people die, like matriarchs or patriarchs of your family die, they pass on, then you get into the bullshit. It seems it's always bullshit of, I was a great-grandchild, or I was a grandchild, so, I wasn't even involved with it. It's usually people that ruin it from greed, people fighting over belongings and property, and it just turned into a fucking circus of unneeded bullshit. So, long story short, there was some friction. And as I got older, into my teens and my 20s, for whatever reason, whether it was somebody telling me shit from, my pap's side, I never really had anything to do with it. I never had any animosity towards him. And him and my grandmother were divorced long ago, so his new wife, I liked her. She's still around. It just turned into something I was dragged into unintentionally. And I got into my teens and 20s. I was not, at that time, I was more worried about partying, fornicating, as we all are, partying, fucking, hanging with the boys, tearing shit up in the mountains. I wasn't, when you're at that age, you take things for granted, and you lose sight of family. And I guess I kind of lost sight of family for a while. There were periods of times in my 20s and even in my 30s where I went a very, very long stretch without talking to my grandfather. And that's something I will never get back. It's something I can't get back because he's gone now. The house is sold. His wife moved out of the house. It's in hands out of the family right now. I live pretty close to that house, so I drive past it fairly often, and the memories just hit me. The time lost always hits me. Thinking of the times, not only thinking of the times we had together there that involved shooting this gun, but also thinking of the times we never created, you know. And after he passed, my mom had told me, and I didn't even go to his funeral or viewing. I had seen him a few times in the last couple of years. He just wasn't the same person, obviously. Dementia. And I just felt like I needed to see him a couple times, even if it wasn't making up for everything lost. I needed to see him, and I did. And I hadn't seen him for probably a year or so when he died. So I did not see him, the last year of his life. I did not talk to him, and that's on me. Directly, it's on me. It really is. Whether, you can say I got dragged into shit that I believed, that other family members tried to push, so be it. It's on me for not seeing him, and I will forever have to live with that. So he passed in the summer. My mother, her brother, my uncle, and her sister, my aunt, got the share of the belongings. Whatever was left in the house was being trashed. Auctioned off or trashed, I got a few things that don't mean anything, just material shit. Power tools and such, which, that shit's minor. My mother got the weapons. My aunt didn't want them, and my uncle, well, legal, I can't, my uncle couldn't have them. So my mother got all the weapons. She has all the weapons. She told me when her time is up, since I am such a gun enthusiast, a collector, a knowledgeable firearms guy, they will all eventually go to me. All his accessories, all his knives, and I've seen them all. I'm not going through that now. I don't even feel like I deserve to have them. But Pap knew how I felt about guns and how I treated them. So, Mom's seen that. So one day they will all be mine. Whether I deserve them or not, I guess I just have to let it go and, accept that it is what it is. His guns are safe. Where they're currently at. I went over to the basement the one night to my mother's, and she said, "Here's the guns. Pick one that you want right now." And they were all laid out on the floor on a blanket. Pistols, shotguns, rifles, an old muzzleloader, an old Kentucky Hawken, which is incredible shape. Old 45 70s, I mean, you name it. I mean, there wasn't hundreds of guns, but the guns that he had, all classics. It took me about, first it caught me off guard that she offered that in the first place. But I glanced over them all. It took me about 10 seconds. So I pretty much glanced to the right, to the left, and I looked back over them. And this is the one I chose, ultimately. I mean, I knew exactly what it was right away. Like I said, I don't deserve it, but I have it. And it's here. This is, I hope I can get some good views on this. This is a 336 SC Sporting Combine. Carbine. Jesus Christ. I live around the Amish, can you tell? All original. Turn this light on, it might help. Hang on here. .336 SC 3030, New Haven, Connecticut. My table is in the way here. I'm going to turn you slightly so I can angle this and get you a full shot. There's a 3/4 tube, and as you see, there's some nicks, some slight nicks. I did put some white on that front sight because my eyes are going bad. It's just fingernail polish. Smooth crown. There's the underside. Nicks. Tiny bit of rust there. This is the second sling he's ever had. Not the original, it's the second sling. Screw is not boogered up. Some tiny slight pitting. Some nicks on the grip. Signature white eye Marlin. Buttstock or butt plate. Original Marlin butt plate. Some scuffs from years of use. Screws still intact, not boogered up. Go across the top here. Sight screws still intact, still in great shape. Like I said, not perfect. There's some nicks because this gun was actually used. There's the adjustable rear, or the fixed rear. And look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a waffle top. See that? That is a waffle top 336. The wood is immaculate. Besides a couple scratches, the wood is immaculate. H52 980. Let's see, it's clean. A couple tiny scuffs on the loop. Clean chamber. Smooth. Two-notch serration on the hammer. But yes, that is a waffle top, folks. And I seen the waffle top when I picked this gun, when my mom let me have it. Of course, you've seen the H code. I came back and ran this. So if you remember my little chart, H code, that's a 1951 Marlin 336 SC sporting carbine from 1951. So that is 4th year production. Very early. It was the second to last year of the waffle top. 4th year production overall, the 336, and yeah, I couldn't believe it. When I looked this up, I thought it was a 60s model, mid to late 60s. But turns out this was my great-great-grandfather's. My pap's father bought this. Bought it brand new in 51. And used it, killed many buck. Passed to my grandfather. Killed many buck in his hands. Now my mother never used it because she didn't really hunt all but a couple of years when she was with my father. But now it's passed to me, and I did not take this out yet hunting. I let my buddy and his 8-year-old son, I think he is. I let his 8-year-old son take this. He was looking for, a smaller, not a real crazy caliber lever gun with open sights. And I said, "Yup, man." I said, "I got this gem." I said, "I trust you with it." So he took his boy out. Unfortunately, they didn't see nothing, but just for that generation, to be carrying something from 1951 is incredible. So I had to let them try it out. And yeah, so that's a 1951 model 336 Marlin SC variant, sporting carbine, 20-inch barrel, 30 Winchester. No caliber or specific round has killed more deer in North America than the 30-30, and only one more gun has killed more North American large game, medium to large game, than the 336, and that's the Winchester 94. And the fact that somehow I ended up with a 4th year production waffle top 336 is beyond me, but I will cherish it, and it will be passed down if I ever have kids. But this is a long one, boys and girls. It's about an hour. I'm going to get out of here. Give you one last look at this. I'm not doing anything to this gun. Not rebluing it, not touching the wood, because quite frankly, it doesn't need it. But one last look at her here. There's the waffle top. Beautiful waffle top. Like I said, she is in great condition. The sling is staying. Still got very good tension on that. But that's a look at her. 1951 336 Marlin SC 30-30 Winchester. The only thing that is missing, and I found it, I just didn't get it for it yet. The hood is missing for the front sight, but they're available. They're about 40 bucks. When the hood is on it, that'll be completely original. It's the only thing that's missing. So, hope you guys enjoyed this long, hour-long ramble, I guess. In some cases, there's a lot of information there if you guys have the time to listen to it. But let me know if y'all. I know y'all have 336s. Let me know if you have any gems. If you have any, early models like this. Let me know if you have any coveted waffle tops. Let me know the caliber. The caliber yours is in. Like I said, share, comment. This is the shit I'm into more than anything when it comes to guns. These absolute, tried, true, trusted, reliable legends. It'll just never be beat, in my opinion. So that's the review, the history of most, some tidbits of the 336 Marlin. One of the greatest guns in the history of the world. Ever created, still created today. Although, they don't touch the old production. So, let me know, guys. Hope you liked it. It's a long-ass video. Probably my longest video I've ever done. But, this was a special one. I needed to do it. And I feel like a lot of you, not all of you on my channel, but a lot of you will appreciate this. Take the time to listen to it. You don't got to watch till the end. I want you to see it. But just set it up. Give it a listen. And learn some facts you might not know about the Model 336 Marlin. Great, absolute great gun. And a legend in the firearms world. So, hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend coming up. Y'all stay vigilant, stay safe. Be aware of what's going around you. The new, the new puppet, the new clown takes office on the 20th, right? A couple days here, what, 3-4 days? Nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. I'm just telling you that right now. Gas will be cheaper. Groceries might be cheaper for a while, but it's the same shit show. That shitbird has 2 corrupt wings. And none of them like you, but anyway, y'all have a good weekend. Comment below about the 336. Hope you enjoyed everything. Y'all guys stay safe. And we'll see you guys on the next one. When Model 88 leaving the asylum. We'll see you guys next time. Keep rocking. Bye-bye.